It was good to get started, obviously. It's been a long road to get to today. And I think it went okay. Obviously, we have a ton of work to do, but the encouraging thing is it's a group of young men that want to get better. I think they're really driven. I think they're unselfish. I think they love hard work. I think it's just adjusting to getting back on the field and competing with the helmet on. We've had a good off season, and we'll get better every day. Some unfortunate news is Joe Mcfadden in our last off-season workout out here on the grass got his foot stuck in the grass and he tore his ACL in his kicking leg. And he had surgery today at noon. Everything went very well, but he will be out for the season. Obviously, that's a big blow. He's an outstanding kicker. He's also a guy that can be a backup punter for us. He's a team leader. He's someone our players really respect. He's dependable. And, we just wish him a speedy recovery. I know that he will continue to have an influence on this team, even though he can't do it on the field. He'll be in meetings when he gets, going on his recovery. He'll be in the locker room. He'll be in these guys' ear. And we have a lot of confidence in Noe to go in and kick for Joe. And I saw that in spring. I in talking to Doug Shear through spring, it was like, we've got two really good kickers. And so the next man's up. And we wish Joe the best and feel really awful about it. However, we're excited about Noe. So that's just a tough way to start camp. So, but it was a good day, and we're off and running, and that's the most important thing. So, any questions? Fire away.
Did you find out anything about your team on the first day, or is it just trying to get them acclimated in a different way?
I think it's more of the second, getting them acclimated. I don't want to jump to conclusions the first day. Either way, I think sometimes you have a tendency to get overexcited, or you get a little bit down when you don't see things running smoothly like you like. But I think after 2 or 3 days, then they fall into a rhythm. The young guys that haven't been here start to understand our tempo, how we do things, how we move around the field between drills, how we operate in our team periods, and then things start to look a little bit better. The important thing tonight is to go back and look at the film and see from snap to whistle how we looked. All the operational things, those will come. And so will the snap to whistle. But I want to look at the young guys and see who in the first day just flashed a little bit. Maybe we can build on. But I don't want any of us to jump to conclusions yet.
Some of these veteran guys who transferred in, are they showing you some leadership or gelling there that you want to see yet?
No, I think there are defined leaders on this team who are leaders because of what they do and the way they act and conduct themselves and the standard they hold themselves to, rather than, they're leaders because they're starters or they're leaders because they're older guys. Leadership is earned, respect is earned. And so even though these transfers come in with some qualifications, if they haven't been with the group at least through spring, then it's hard for them to step in and have a voice or have a presence. Now, everyone can be a leader by example, and that's the most important thing. But, you'll talk about a Jake Woodone or a Marquez Pembry, and I could talk about other guys as well, but they've been here since January. So those transfers, you absolutely see, that they have an influence, a positive influence. But these younger, or the guys that just got here that weren't with us through spring, that's going to come as they start to build that trust amongst their teammates.
Tim, have there been any specific moments or specific conversations that you've had with players that even into this week that kind of make you say, yeah, my culture is taking effect. They get it. It's starting to happen. Have you had any moments like that?
I will tell you this, I have a good feeling. I don't know that it's a conversation, Dom. It's more of like watching behavior, so culture's about, behavior. It's about what you say, how you act, how you treat each other, what your standards and expectations are, and guys living up to them. And I've said this before, what I see is a group of young men that are really hungry and really invested in becoming all that they can be. They want to reach their potential, and they want to be told how it can happen, and they understand culture. But it's a process because, some of these guys haven't had a ton of success here, and sometimes when things don't go right, there's a tendency to fall back into the old trap of, oh, here we go again. And so we've just got to keep moving through that. And I feel like even without having a conversation, we are moving that direction. I've said this before, this is the least entitled group of players I've ever been around. And that's refreshing, especially in this day and age where you have a group of guys that really want to work for it rather than think that they deserve it. And to me, that's really impressive about these guys, and I value that.
Nate is going to obviously be, Nate Carter is obviously going to be a big part of your offense this year. What have you seen from him? How is your look so far? And have you been encouraged by the signs he's showing?
Been very encouraged by Nate. If you look at him physically, and he'll step up here in a minute. I mean, just the way his body's transformed. I mean, he's gained weight. He's right at 200, 201, 202, right in there. He looks fantastic. You talk about culture and leaders. I mean, this guy, he's a freshman last year, but when he walks in the room here, even as a sophomore, like he is what you want. In everything that he does, he is what you want. And on the football field, he's a guy that he can carry the football. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's a good protector. And those are the things that you want, position specific to what he does. And so, been very encouraged with Nate. I think he's going to be a really, really, really fine football player for us.
What are you looking for specifically out of the quarterbacks these first couple practices?
Boy, I'll tell you, command. Command of the huddle, of the situation that they're in. When things break down, how do they react? Consistency. Are they consistently making good decisions? Accuracy throwing the football. And I don't know that that's going to be great right off the bat because some of the receivers they're throwing to, they really haven't worked with before. And then you're looking in every practice for development. You want to see them make improvement every single practice. So something not, if they identify something they need to work on based upon tonight's film. We want to see them come out here tomorrow and be better in that area. And I really like our 5 quarterbacks as people and as players. I think that they have the right mindset, the right attitude, the right work ethic. And I'm excited to see how that competition goes. My eyes have never seen Tyler Flinshaw play full speed because he only did a little bit in spring. And he caught my eye. I'm like, okay, I see why this kid was a starter last year. It made sense to me today. And I hadn't seen that before. So now I want to see him continue to build on those things.
Kevon Jones and Kwai Evans, I noticed not on the roster.
Excuse me?
Sorry, Kevon Jones,
Yeah.
Kwai Evans,
Yeah.
not noticed on the roster. Are they still with the program?
Unfortunately, they're not with the program anymore.
Okay.
There were some, they're not with the program. We wish them the best. It was not anything disciplinary or anything like that. There were just some things that they needed to handle in their personal lives, in their academic life that didn't allow them to be here with us. And we're still supporting them in every way that we can because they're both great kids. And unfortunately, they're not here because they're both good players.
Great,
Jim,
thank
is there
you.
an area on your team that you really like the depth in a particular department, or is that still very much a work in progress?
That's a work in progress. I hope in a week I can say, I like the depth here, 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 and here. I'm really not sure yet. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to like the depth on the offensive line. And I think we added some decent players there. I think the 2 young guys that came in, Ben Morowski and help me out here. Now, don't put this on the air, but I can't remember the guy's name. Ben and give me the guard. Come on, there we go. Thank you. Brady Wayburn. I like those 2 guys. I think they have a chance to help us early. They're big-bodied guys. They move well. If you've seen Ben on his Twitter, so our guys go play basketball in the summer. Okay, he's 6'7", 336. He plays point guard, and he just dunks and stuff. So he's got that rare athleticism. He's got size 18 feet, So he's different, and so is Brady. So I think there's some promise there. And then we brought in some transfers that I think can help us. We didn't have Jake out there today at center. He's got just a slight hamstring pull. And we want to make sure we get him to full speed before we turn him loose, because he's not the kind of guy that will keep himself out, so we have to hold him back. But I am encouraged at this point by the direction our offensive line is headed.
Can we read anything into Taekwon being with the number 1s most of the day? I mean, is he right now the guy to beat at the quarterback position?
I don't know that he's the guy to beat. I don't know that I'd phrase it that way, because I think it's going to be great competition between all those guys. But he's the guy that established himself through spring. And let's remember now, Tyler didn't get to go through spring. Zion wasn't here during spring. Kale Millen wasn't here during spring. Taquan got all those first team reps and he did well. So you come out here, he's the first, it's the first day. He got most of the reps with the ones. Tyler got some as well. What we'll try to do as we go through this first week of camp is, try to make sure those guys are getting equal reps with the first group, and see how they look and then start to massage it from there.
Zion was threatening to lead it in a couple of those passes. Obviously, we haven't seen him before.
Zion?
Yeah. What did he do to us?
He threaded the needle on a few passes, but even more than that, it was his presence. This is a young guy that started as a freshman at one of the top high school programs in America. He's always played above his age group since he was I think he started playing at 4, he told me. He's only lost 4 games in his career. So, he was not overwhelmed at all, which was encouraging. He's not going to be overwhelmed. He just steps in, he just plays, he's unaffected. And that's because of his background. And, I'm excited to just see how he develops over the next couple of months.
When you walked out here today, one of the first ones out here, what did you kind of allow yourself to kind of take a deep breath and go up the line? Did you allow yourself to?
I did come up here early. I came up to work out first of all, but I wanted to be up here early before anyone else because I did want to kind of have some time. And I just got married, as you guys know, and my wife was over here, Kathy, and we came up and we jogged around and just walked around talking. It's kind of her first time being in this environment, and it is special for me. It is emotional for me to have the chance to do this again, and especially here. I know the outside of these gates, people don't think much of us, and that's okay with me. I think a lot of us, and I'm excited to see where we go. And so for me to have a chance, and David have the confidence to hire me, that really feels good.
Well, it's an exciting moment in your life.
It is.
When you start and off the field, on the field.
I had not coached on a football field since November 19th, 2017, when we played USC in the Coliseum. And the next morning at 9:30, I got fired. No, wait, November 18th, because I got fired on November 19th. So I know exactly how long it's been since I got to come out and get ready for a game. And it's awesome. And it's what I feel is what I was built to do. Be a father, be a brother, be a son, be a husband, be a friend, and be a coach. That's it for me.
What did you see in Taekwondo through the spring?
I saw him develop every day in terms of his accuracy, his command of the offense, his understanding what his role was, where things were fitting. I saw the players gain confidence in him, which I think is always really important. I saw his leadership skills develop. He would lead the player and run practices. He would call guys and get them in on the weekends to work out on their own. The receivers, even the line. Let's come in on a Saturday or Sunday. Let's walk through some stuff. He was the guy leading that charge. That's what the great ones do. Is when you're a quarterback, you've got to be that take charge guy, and he's got that type of personality.
Coach, a lot of these guys talk about putting in the extra work outside of practice. Mm-hmm. How have you seen that passion translate into day one?
Well, first of all, I'll say this, and coached for a very long time, and had ever been around a football team that was so committed in the off season as these guys were to doing the extra thing. Kathy and I'd come over here in the mornings on a Sunday to work out or whatever, and I'd walk into my office and look out on the field, and the whole offense, or the whole defense, the whole team would be out there on their own working. I'm like, I've never seen that. And it was consistent from day one through, really today. And it's just rare. And so that transforms itself into your practice because they know what they're doing. It did not feel like, in terms of our execution, it was day one. Now, some of the operation, it felt like day one, but they at least knew how to run a play and line up play defense, and they knew how to talk to each other. So I was encouraged.
When you talk about leaders, what does Jackson mean to this defense?
Well, Jackson, you talk about a non-vocal leader, a guy that does it by example. He's the ultimate because he's not a loud guy, but when he does say something, it has impact. And it has impact because of the way he conducts himself on the field, off the field, in the locker room, in the weight room, in the meeting room, in the meal room. You know, he's a man. He's a man. You know, he's the guy. And above all that, he's a great football player. And I will use that term. And I've been fortunate to coach a lot of great linebackers. One of them's in the Hall of Fame in a couple weeks, Sam Mills. And Jackson has the qualities of those great ones, the Anthony Barrs and the Eric Kendricks and the Miles Jackson, the Sam Mills and the Ricky Jackson, the Pat Swillings and the Ken Nortons, you know, those guys. I see all those attributes in Jackson Mitchell. And that's some lofty stuff. Those are some names right there, you know, and I'm sure I left some out. So, all right. Hey, these guys got to get going. They got meetings.